Let me ask you something. Have you ever played a game as a kid that just stuck with you? Not because it was flawless or because it won awards. It just lived in your head rent free for years. And then one day you go online to see if other people shared that same memory. And then you realize, oh shit, this game got a lot of hate. Not like mixed reviews hates it. I mean actively shitting on it. Well, this game for me is Star Fox Adventures. And look, I get it. I already know what you're thinking. It's a Zelda clone built from the corpse of a canceled game, where the main selling point of the franchise shows up for maybe 40 minutes total. And while those are legitimate criticisms, I'm not here to tell you they aren't. But a game can have real problems and still be genuinely good. In Star Fox Adventures, despite everything working against it, actually pulled it off. So here's what we're doing today. We're going through every major criticism this game gets, and I'm going to acknowledge each one because most of them are fair. But then we're going to look at what the game actually did. Because with all those limitations, the argument isn't that this game is perfect. The argument is that it's good. And I mean like genuinely good. And I feel like it's been written off by people who repeated a take they heard somewhere online and then just moved on. So if you loved this game as a kid, this one's for you. And if you wrote it off, stick around because I think you might come out of this with a different perspective. So without further ado, this is Star Fox Adventures Revisited. All right, so let's get started with a quick origin story here. This game first started as a game called Dinosaur Planet. It was a Rareware original with completely different characters and no Star Fox whatsoever. But then Miyamoto saw it and thought the lead looked a lot like Fox McCloud, and that was that. The game became Star Fox Adventures. Crystal went from co lead to the person you spend the whole game rescuing. It's all worth knowing, but here's where people go wrong. They treat that origin story like it's a review. Like knowing where something came from tells you whether it's worth your time, and it doesn't. You see, films get rewritten, albums get reworked, and games get restructured all the time. That's just part of the process. But what came out of the other side is what we're talking about. And what came out of the other side is a complete and intentional game. But with intention comes the next and maybe one of the biggest issues fans had with this game. There's no denying that Star Fox Adventures is heavily inspired by Zelda. It's not subtle. It's a hub world with item gated dungeons, a staff that opens up the world, a companion giving you hints, and Rare looked at Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and was like, you know what? I like that. And built the entire game around those concepts. And they did it openly. Now, here's the question nobody asked after addressing this fact. So what? Look at what the Souls series did to gaming. One game comes out, and suddenly there's an entire genre. Same loop, same structure, rebuilt in different worlds, and yet we celebrate those games. We judge them on execution, not on the fact that they borrowed a template. So then why is it different here? Rare took the best action adventure structure of its time and built a new world inside it. New tone, new characters, and new identity. And somehow that's a flaw. And to me personally, that's not a consistent standard. That's a double standard. And I've got to be honest with you, I think they nailed the template. The dungeons feel distinct, the volcano temple is tight and hostile, the ocean temple is open and tense. Each one shifts how you move and think. That's not copying Zelda, that's understanding why Zelda design works and applying it with intention. The staff changes how you see the world. You go back to places you've already been and suddenly notice things you couldn't use before. That layered sense of discovery is genuinely hard to design, and Rare got it right. Tricky pulls from the companion playbook, sure, but he feels like a character, not a hint system with fur or scales in this case. And the Krazoa spirit structure gives the game direction. You always know what you're building towards. A borrowed structure executed well is still a good game. And honestly, I gotta give the game its praise. It genuinely did feel really good being in that world. Now, here's what I feel like the clone argument completely misses: the world in general. Dinosaur Planet doesn't feel like Hyrule. It feels like a place on the edge of collapse. The tribes aren't set dressing, they all have history between them. There's grudges, old wounds. The tension you feel in every corner of that world has roots, and the game trusts you to pick up on that. It doesn't over explain, it lets the world speak. The Earthwalkers are proud, the Cloudrunners are defensive, and the Lightfoots don't trust outsiders. You feel all of that before anyone says a word about it. That's not Zelda. That's something rare built from scratch. General Scales isn't a mythic villain with a monologue. He's physical. He's immediate. Every time he shows up, you feel the threat. And then there's Crystal. Well, sealed inside a crystal. She's barely in the game, and yet the whole story orbits around her. Her staff, her memories, her connection to Dinosaur Planet. You feel her absence as a presence. That's hard to write. And then you have Fox. He doesn't want to be a hero. He's a mercenary that took a job. He needed the money and he got pulled into something much bigger. And now he's too far in to walk away. That reluctance gives the whole story a different texture. He's not saving the world because Destiny said so. He's saving it because he's already there. And he's not the kind of person who leaves or the kind of fox to leave. And the ending earns it. The Krazoa reveal pays off threads the game was quietly laying down the whole time. For a game people dismiss as shallow, the story is doing a lot without holding your hand. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say this game is flawless because, my lord, does this game have some. And they mainly show through the game mechanics. And one of the big examples of those are during the Dragon Rock part, the Cloud Runner sequence to be exact. You get this incredible moment of actually flying, and then the game buries you in chaos with god awful aiming and an unforgiving sequence of trying to survive. And mechanically, it just needed more work. And then you have the R-Wing sections. They are short and honestly kind of boring. So if you came in expecting Star Fox 64 Part 2, you're going to feel that. Those are fair criticisms. But rough edges in an ambitious game are different from a broken one. Dragon Rock isn't lazy, it's overreaching. There's a difference. This isn't a game that failed to try, it's a game that tried a lot, and most of the time it landed. Rare was really ambitious with this game and was not afraid to try new things or push the system's limits. The fur rendering alone is a good example. It's not a texture, but actual behavior. It reacts to light and moves naturally on hardware that barely had the capacity for it. The environments feel deliberate, the lighting shifts tone room to room, and the level design guides you without telling you. You feel it before you notice it. This is a game built by people who cared, and you can feel that, even now. Star Fox Adventures is not a perfect game. It has rough edges, a structure it borrowed openly, an origin story that could have gone differently. All of that is true. And none of it changes what this game actually is. There's a world that feels alive, a story that earns its ending, a team that poured everything into every corner of it, and you feel it in the way lights hit Dinosaur Planet, in the way the tribes talk to each other, in the music, in the way Fox carries himself. And I think about what this game meant to me as a kid, sitting in front of the TV, completely absorbed, not thinking about what it borrowed, not thinking about what it was supposed to be. I was just in it. That world felt real to me. Those characters felt real to me. And I carried that for years, long after I moved on to other games, long after everyone online made up their mind about it. I still had that feeling. So I went back as an adult with fresh eyes. And I gotta say, it's still good. Not because I wanted it to be, because it earned it. This game deserved better conversations, better reviews, a better shot overall. And maybe it's 20 years too late for that. But if this video reaches even one person who wrote it off or who loved it and felt alone in that, then that's enough for me. Because this game meant something, and it still does. But anyways, guys, this is my little analysis of a game that really stuck with me. But I want to know, is there a game you love that people turned on? once you stop defending because it got so exhausting? Drop it in the comments. And if this kind of deep dive is what you're into, to consider liking the video and subscribing. This is the kind of thing I like to keep making. I love retrospects. So until next time, stay safe and I'll see you in the next one.